I was just watching a video and they were talking about adding equity into the projects that you work on. And it's this idea of like giving, it's like not just approaching a project as being a button pusher, like just tell me what to do. Like there's a certain element of that to your job, but then also thinking ahead. So like using your brain to be like, okay, like being like an active participant and aware of everything else that's going on around you, I think is really critical. So it's like if you're just kind of like zoned in just on what you're doing and like you kind of, it's like you have, it's like an Amazon Alexa, right? Like if you say Alexa, then it'll turn on. So it's like you're just, otherwise you're just dormant sitting there. So if your only job on set is this one thing and you just like wait to hear the keyword and then you like, okay, what's going on? Like that's not going to be super helpful, but being there and like being aware of everything that's going on, then you can kind of preempt when they're going to need you. So then I feel like that's the thing that like I love the most when I'm like working with other crew members is like, can I get the, yeah, that exactly. Like I don't even have, like, I'm like, or they'll hand it to me as I'm about to say it because it's like they know that I needed that. So when you can kind of like be that preemptively acting, being kind of one step ahead, but not, it's like this weird balance. Like you don't want to be, you want to be ready to give that step at any moment, but not step past where they actually need you. I think that's where I've struggled sometimes, where it's like, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm one step ahead. And they're like, no, I wasn't going to do that. You're like, okay, then you actually just slowed them down. So kind of riding that balance of like trying to just be a servant and really think and try to get to know if there's someone right above you, like kind of their likes and needs and how they like to work in a certain situation. I think that can be a really cool way to add value.
It's kind of part of what our version of what we call the IT factor. I stands for initiative, which is what you're talking about, a readiness, a looking for, and then T can be teachable. So sometimes if you're not sure how to do it, or if you're being too eager and anxious, sometimes being teachable on how to best do your job for what whoever it is you're serving, whatever they need, is really, really helpful in being a good crew member. The other thing I would say is if you're going in for a specific role, be good at that role. Spend the time to hone your craft, whatever that may be, to be able to serve the production well. You don't want to, it's not helpful for someone to hire someone in for a job they thought they were good at, and then to find out they really don't have very much experience. You can, if you don't have experience, there's again the part of initiative and being teachable, but when you're coming in for a specific role, um, spend the time to be good at that role so you can actually serve them. The other thing would be, as you're doing your job well, know when to know how to communicate with the director, whoever your department head is, to step back when they say, thank you, this is the extent that I needed. They're balancing a lot of different departments, and no one department really runs the show. The director, it's part of a director and assistant director's job is to kind of balance, keep things on schedule to make sure the end goal is what's being accomplished. So being able to know when to step back, when to step in for your job is a tricky balance, and just kind of part of that open communication of the endeavors of creatives as they're trying to make projects and art and story. But being able to balance that can be tricky, but is also very, very, very crucial to being a helpful and a good crew member.